So hello guys, welcome to my channel. Today, all I'm gonna do is teach you what Fibonacci series is and help you write a Java code that is categorized into three sections. First of all, I'm gonna help you write the basic Fibonacci series. Secondly, I'm gonna help you write Fibonacci series with recursion. And then I'm also gonna help you optimize the recursion problem. Help you deal with its time as well as space complexity. Let's go ahead. Before starting anything, what is Fibonacci series? Fibonacci series was one of the most finest natural series that was ever observed in nature by Fibonacci. How do we start Fibonacci series? So what is a Fibonacci series? Fibonacci series is the series which starts with two initial numbers those are 0 and 1. And you add those previous numbers in order to get the next consecutive or the subsequent number. You add 0 plus 1. So you add 0 and 1 in order to get the next consecutive number, which is 1. You add the previous two numbers. Now the previous two numbers are 1 and 1. So you add both of them in order to get the next number, that is 2. You add 1 and 2 in order to get the next number, that is 3. You add 2 and 3 in order to get the next number, that's 5, and so on. So now by now, you might have guessed what is going to be the next number. That's 8, perfectly correct. 5 plus 8 is 13. And then you have 8 plus 13, that is 21. You have 13 plus 21, that's 34, and so on. So before heading over to the code, that might seem quite complicated, let's go ahead with writing a simple algorithm that will help you understand the code better. What is the first step? You write in an algorithm. Right, start. We start the algorithm, and then what we do is initialize the variables. What we need to initialize is the starting two numbers. That is, A is equal to 0 and B equals 1. And then you also have to define a variable that is going to store the sum of these two numbers. That is, sum equals 0. We might also take the input n to print the total numbers to be printed in a Fibonacci series. We have n, let's say, equals 5. So the first 5 numbers, by far now you would have guessed it right, is 0, 1, 1, 2, 3 is what we wanted to be printed. And then we also need to check the counter each time we print a number. So we initialize c equals 2. So you might be thinking, why 2? It's just because we are going to print the first two numbers initially. So the next step is to print these two numbers. That is, print A, comma B. So we already have 0 and 1 printed. The next step is we need to go about adding the previous two numbers and storing it in a variable called sum. So sum is equal to A plus B. The fifth step is to print the sum. Now coming to the most critical part of the series. What is it? We have printed 0 and 1 getting added in order to give a sum that is equal to 1. So what will be the new values of A and B? So we need to swap the values. So for example, A is equal to 0 and B equals 1. A equals 0, B equals 1. What will be the sum? Sum is 1. Adding the two numbers. Now, what's the new sum? The new sum is 1 plus 1. So we need to shift it back into the previous variable. So what we need to do is A equals B and B equals sum. Why did I write it in this subsequent way? If we put B is equal to sum first, then, like for example, if B equals 1, B equals sum, A will be equal to the new value of B. So you need to put first the value of b in A and then the value of sum in B. So what will be the new A? The new A will be equal to 1. The new B will also be equal to 1. Since there's the initial steps, you might find it a little bit confounding, but we will have the sum equal to 2. What will be the new value of A? A will now become equal to 1, that's B, and then B will become equal to 2. The sum now will be equal to 3. And so on. So the final step is to repeat the procedure. Repeat from where? Repeat from the third step. The third step is, no, repeat from the fourth step. That is, sum equals A plus B. Till when? Till C is less than N. But I have never incremented C. So each time we calculate the sum, we need to increment C. And that is the eighth step is N. That is how we complete the algorithm. Little bit onto the explanation part of why we didn't put B equals sum first and then A equals B is, let's look at the step. We have sum equals 2. So if we put B equals 2, A will now become equal to 2, which is wrong because that will give us 4. What we want is 3. So hence we need to do A equals B and sum equals, and B equals sum, B equals sum. That's it from the algorithm part. Let's head over to our Java code. Meet you there. So, heading over to the Java code. Before writing the Java code, we need to select our requisite. There are certain prerequisites before we write our Java code. That is to select our IDE, that is Integrated Development Environment. So if we choose, there are many integrated development environments. The most popular of them is NetBeans. But for the beginners or the people who are writing simple code, the most efficient way to use an IDE is Bluej. So it is an integrated development environment. You can head over to this site. I will post the link in the description below. You can head over to this site, and based on the operating system, you can download either of the type that is compatible with your operating system. So for me, I prefer, my operating system is Windows, so I'm going to download this one. And the installation is pretty damn easy, which I'm not going to head over to. I'm directly going to show and introduce you to the IDE. So this is how the IDE looks like. These are some of the classes that I've already mentioned in my IDE. So I'll teach you how to start a new project. So you just click on project, go to new project, and then you choose a file. For me, I have chosen a specific file that I've created for writing the Fibonacci code. I'll click on Fibonacci and select it. I'll click on OK. So I'll see a new project is being created for my own purpose. Now, the only thing that we need to do before writing a Java code is to create a class. What is a class? A class is nothing but a set of similar objects. An object is a unique real-time entity that has got some properties and attributes. A unique set of properties and attributes. So I'm going to go and create a class, give it a name called Fibonacci. And this is how my class is created. This is some inline comments that are being displayed in the class. All you need to do is remove that. So let's start writing our Java code. The first statement that you usually start up before writing the Java code is using the keyword import. What does import do is it imports the already predefined libraries that are present in the JDK, that is Java Development Kit. Usually, so the file that I'm currently going to import is import java.io.*colon. This is the syntax of importing a Java file or a Java library, I'm sorry. To be specific, IO stands for input and output. And then in order to take the input from the user, I'm gonna use java.util.stir that will import all the kind of libraries from the utilities library. And then I'm gonna define the name of my class, that is Fibonacci. This is how we define. Public stands for the access specifier of a particular class. There are several access specifiers, one of which is public, private, protected, and you have default. These are the most prominent used or the most widely used access specifiers in Java. And then now you're gonna define a main function. Main function is the function that is run before any function else in the program. So whenever you write a main function, the Java virtual machine immediately understands of which function to run first. So I'll go up with writing public static void main. That is our main function. Here void stands that it is a non-returnable function. It does not return anything. And static is to give some specific identification for that function so that it is a static function and it can call another static function directly of another static function, which I'm gonna display right now. And then what are we gonna head up with? The first thing that we need to do before writing a Fibonacci series is to take the input from the user of how many terms we want to print on a Fibonacci series. Fibonacci series. So to do that, we are going to use an input class, that is what we call it as scanner. Scanner SC is equal to, where SC is nothing but an object of a scanner class. That is new scanner system.n. So the new scanner is a class, SC is its object, and system.in tells it that we need to take an input in the scanner class. So what we need to take? We need to take the input n. So to take the input n, we need to take an integral input from the scanner object. And to do that, there is a function that is present in the scanner object called as nextInt that will look, sorry, my bad, that's the small t, nextInt. So what it will do, the system.in, the property called system.in will wait for the next integer on the console to be written or given as an input by the user. So we have taken the input. Now what we need to do, as I've defined or predefined in the algorithm, all we need to do is define the initial set of variables, that is a equal to 0, b equals 1, sum is equal to 0 at first, and then we need to define a counter, which we'll define it by using the variable c, which is 0 at first instance. Now we need to create a loop. There are a lot many loops that are available in Java. One of the most prominent ones is while, for, and do while loop. So I usually prefer while loop while writing the Fibonacci code. I will also help you using a for loop. When I define a tabulation code. So currently, for time being, I'm using a while loop. So heading over to the while loop, we have while. So whenever we start a loop, we usually give a condition to that particular loop. So by far now, my bad. So here C will be initialized to 2 because we have already, as per the algorithm, I've already told you that we have already defined 2 terms in the algorithm. So all we need to do is till C is less than equal to 1. where n is the number of terms that we need to print out for the Fibonacci series. We have now entered the loop. The first thing that we need to do is sum is equal to a plus b. So now we need to display the sum, print the sum according to the algorithm. So to print the sum, we use this library contains a function in order to display the output to the console. That is system.out will println sum, or println will print each sum in the new line. So all I just want is to print it at the same line with some space. So this is how you define space. You can also use some escape sequences for that matter. For example, you can use /t that will tap up the spaces, and then all you need to do is now increment the value of c. C is equal to c plus 1. There is another way, there's a more easier way to define this. You can also write it as c is equal to c plus 1, or you can write c plus plus in Java. That is a postfix operator. Or we can also write plus plus c. I'll tell you the difference afterwards, but for time being, we'll use plus plus c. And now, what we need to do? Now we need to swap the values or create the new values of a and b so that it will print us the right output. According to the methods that I've told, perfectly right. We need to put the b value in a, and the new b value will be the sum value. We're almost done with the code. Is there anything remaining? Now to compile in Bluej, you need to click the word compile. And if your code, fortunately, does not have any errors, you will be displayed with a statement. The class is compiled and it has no syntax errors. You just minimize this window, right click on the class that you have created, and execute the void main function. So since I've not given any message, it is understood that we need to provide a particular number or as an input. I provide it as 4. So it is giving me /t/t. That's my bad. I guess the escape sequences has not been integrated properly. I'll just compile it back again. My bad. So again, we need to provide the input. So here it is. We are getting the output as 1, 2, and 3. Where is 0 and 1? It's not getting printed or what? It's just because I did not print the previous values before. So all I need to do is just go back here, system.out.print a plus b plus some space for the new sum. What's wrong? Oh, there is no plus sign. You need, for every string that you attach, you need to give it a plus sign at each and every position. The class has to get compiled now, and then again I'll run the function. I'll give the input as 4. So now you can see there are 5 terms being printed. And why is that so? Let's go head over to the code and analyze what is being happening. I've given c is equal to 2. And then I have plus plus c here. So each time you have so like I'll just comment it here what's going wrong, and I also have to give some space at the start. It's better if I just give the space, compile it. So let us analyze. That is what we need to do. Analyze of where things are going wrong. First, the value of c is equal to 2, value of a is equal to 0, value of b is equal to 1. Then all we need to think about is C. First, sum is getting printed. Sum will be equal to 1. And then your C should be incremented to plus plus C, and that should be incremented to, now C should become equal to 3. A should become equal to 1. B should be equal to 1. Sum is equal to 2. Right, here it should stop. Because since we are we are done with 4 terms. So hence, if n value is 4, it should be less than n. That's the change that you need to do. Because as soon as it iterates through the other value, that is c is equal to 4, a will become equal to 2. A will become equal to 1. B will become equal to 2, and sum will become equal to 3. So hence, it should be less than n. Because already sum is done printing 2 values here at c is equal to 3. So this is the way I'm helping you try run a program of how to deal with errors and how to analyze the program. It is sometimes even for some coders like us, we do make many mistakes, and this is how we check the problem. Or all you need to do is put c is equal to 1, and then you can put this is equal to 1, and then I think no, it will print another term. You should give c is equal to 3, including another term. So since that gets printed, it becomes plus plus c. So how to avoid that? First, what's the better way is to put c is less than n, or if you put it equal to 1, it will print another term. Compile. Commenting in Java is using 2 forward slashes. I was just going up with the norms of Python, which is quite wrong. This is forward slashes for Java. And then you have to just run the code, compile it, run the code. Put an input, that is 5, and that's all you get. 0, 1, 1, 2, 3. Now it works quite fine. All you need to do, if you want to clear your console, go ahead and print some bigger value. 10. 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21. So it's 3, 3, 3, and 10. That's it. That's your simple Fibonacci code of how we're going to do about to print n Fibonacci numbers. Thank you, and please keep watching. In the further videos, I will introduce you of how to calculate the time and space complexity of this code. Thank you, and hope you guys have a nice day.